relevant content. Parental discretion is advised.
Combat camera documents a mission from cradle to grave. You don't really have time to absorb everything because you walk in, you hit the ground running, and particularly in an organization like this, where its mission is constantly a revolving door and responding to contingencies, humanitarian crises, or a war. One of the challenges was supporting Hurricane Gustav and Hurricane Ike, getting airmen out to capture what military men and women were doing in response to that. The second contingency we had was the contingency over in Georgia. The third issue, and that sort of spans the gamut of my time here, is how we continue to respond to the Iraq War.
Over the past year, Combat Camera has been postured in support of the Army. And basically that means most of our assets have been tagged to the Army units out in Iraq. Specifically, we've been covering, in lieu of Army taskings, kicking in doors, looking for weapons caches, IED explosions, in different areas.
The best missions I had in Iraq were the air assaults. You hit the ground hard. It was quick response. We got caught up at, with an hour notice, show up at the bird, and then you hit the ground running. Usually there was some kind of target that they were looking for, which is why we did the air assault in the first place.
We document each step in the war. The larger role that the main Army has been fulfilling this past year has been to train the Iraqi Army and these groups. The U.S. is just there to train them and help teach them how to manage their country. The Russians invaded the Republic of Georgia. The president of Georgia requested the withdrawal of the soldiers that were stationed in Iraq to help defend against the Russian invasion. One of our main mission statements there was to document the damage from the Russian attack, as well as the displaced persons and their conditions. I think these are two examples of the broad spectrum of missions that Combat Camera deals with on a yearly basis. Our mission isn't just to photograph and document combat, but also to document any kind of operation or exercise the United States government has a hand in.
It's a challenge right now because so much is asked of so few people who are trained and equipped and ready to go when the call comes. You have the best training program here at Combat Camera. It's so good that Air Force Public Affairs looks to our training program as being the one it wants exported. It's just outstanding how you can bring these young people in and level the playing field, get everybody on the same sheet of music, and get them ready to go out the door when that call comes.
We go on a lot of TDYs to get us out there and get a little bit of experience with the other services. It was really interesting because a lot of it was uncontrolled, which is a big part of our training since most of what we will shoot while deployed is uncontrolled action. So that's basically what we shot, was their experience from beginning to end at Army Basic Training. They are a different service than us, and they do things just a little bit differently. A lot of it's the same, but it helps to just be familiar with it and learning the Army way and the stuff that they do, everything they have to go through.
The JFEXs that we go on is more of a joint atmosphere. It is Army focused, but we do get a little bit of the Air Force in there as well. And they also get experience with the night vision, which is very important because if you do go to Iraq, there are night missions that they'll have to go out on.
We do nothing but train for our next operation, train for the next exercise, train for the next war. We basically prepare our people to do that and get out the door, and that's wheels up in 6 hours. We can go anywhere in the world during that time period and bring a full team ready to document. The other thing we've used it for is the hurricanes.
I was actually camping. I got caught up at 2 o'clock in the morning. I got here at about 3 in the morning, and we were on a plane within 4 hours. We went straight from off the plane to the site where they were evacuating. We set all of our stuff up. We'd shoot enough for a stringer and then come back, and it was all out within a couple hours of us getting there.
I was actually down in Alexandria when the hurricane went through, and all you could hear all night long was just the wind just going, and I was just thinking about some of the people, and we were in a hardened facility, but I couldn't imagine some of the people that were down on the coast and what they must have been going through. Pretty much every house there was devastated, and when I saw the houses and Grand Isle and just the devastation that was there, it was just horrible. I mean, roofs were totally blown off. You would see furniture just in the middle of the street, and it was crazy what we saw.
Now that Combat Camera has merged with PA, we've started a new team, and we're covering primarily Air Force stuff, which is a switch over the past 5 years. It's really been largely Army. This is an opportunity to go out and tell the Air Force story, and it's kind of a refreshing change. We got into some places, and we did get into some Air Force missions and cover some things that haven't been covered for the duration of the war. The one thing that makes this squadron so great to be a part of is the very thing that makes it work. The state of flexibility that we have to maintain at Combat Camera makes it possible to pull off short notice trips like Georgia, the hurricanes, and Antarctica. The mission was in support of the National Science Foundation, primarily to extract the scientists that were down there and take supplies down. One of the big things down in Antarctica is to bring aircraft in and land on a completely austere airfield that's nothing but a sheet of ice.
We have such a tremendous capability to help tell that story of what our military men and women are doing. Now, the cool part about all of this is that you have incredible airmen who already know what they're doing. They're going to lead you through all of that, and lead they did. We have just been hitting home runs since I've been here, just like they were before I got here. It's just an incredible squadron to be a part of.